Have you ever wondered what the single biggest threat to a company really is? I mean, we always think it's the competition, right? But what if the real silent killer isn't some rival company, but the person running the show? Today, we're going to dive into this powerful idea, how a leader's internal world creates massive external results, for better or for much, much worse. I mean, really think about that for a second. It's a pretty intense thought, isn't it? We're so used to looking outside for threats, market shifts, new tech, competitors. But what we're exploring today suggests the most dangerous problems often start right at the top, in the blind spots of the leaders themselves. So let's unpack what that danger is and how it can quietly eat away at a company from the inside out. So where does a problem this big even come from? Well, the material we're digging into points to a concept you might not be familiar with. It's called spiritual intelligence, or SQ for short. And let's be super clear, this has nothing to do with religion. Think of it as a deeper kind of awareness. It's what drives a leader's purpose, their why. And when that SQ is underdeveloped, oh boy, the fallout can be massive. Okay, so what does an underdeveloped SQ actually look like in the real world? It pretty much boils down to a toxic recipe with 3 key ingredients. First, you've got a massive ego, where everything is about their power, their credit, their success. Second, a serious lack of self-awareness. They genuinely have no clue how they come across to people. And third, they just can't connect to a purpose bigger than the bottom line. It's all about hitting targets, not fulfilling a mission. And this is where you can really see the 2 paths a leader can take. On one side, you have the leader who just lifts everyone up. They're driven by a real purpose, they get their own impact, and they build genuine connections. But on the other side, you've got the leader who just sucks the energy out of the room. They're all about their ego, they're reactive, and honestly, they just seem cold. This isn't just about different styles, it's about the entire world they create around them. Right, so this internal mess, it doesn't stay bottled up. Not at all. It immediately starts to create ripples. And that very first ripple, well, it shows up in the leader's own behavior. These are the red flags, the first things you can actually see and point to that signal trouble is on the way. First up, the ego driver. Come on, we've all seen this person. When things go great, when the team lands a huge win, who's front and center taking the bow? They are. But if you look closely, the people who actually did the hard work are nowhere to be found. It was never about we, it was always about me. But what happens when things go wrong? When that project fails? Suddenly, that same leader is a ghost. Instead, they become an expert at pointing fingers. It's always someone else's fault. They will throw anyone under the bus to save themselves. And pretty soon, they've created a culture where nobody feels safe.
And then there's my personal favorite, the control freak. You know, the micromanager. It's so easy to think, oh, they just care about quality. But what we're learning here is that it's not about perfectionism at all. It's a symptom of their own deep down insecurity. They don't trust the team, so they have to control everything just to calm their own nerves.
This quote really just hits the nail on the head. They see disagreements as personal threats rather than opportunities for growth and understanding. Just let that sink in. Someone offers a different opinion, which could be the start of a brilliant idea, and this leader sees it as a personal attack. How can any team innovate or solve problems in an environment like that? It's impossible. Okay, so that first ripple of bad behavior starts moving outward. It's not just about the leader anymore. Now that toxicity is starting to spread, and it's about to infect the entire team. It literally poisons the workplace culture. And what you see here is a totally predictable and totally devastating chain reaction. Leader steals credit, motivation dies. Leader points fingers, fear takes over, and nobody wants to take a risk ever again. Leader micromanages, trust goes right out the window. It's a vicious cycle, and it spirals downward fast. This all creates what's called the vision-reality gap. This is when the leader gets up on stage and gives these big, inspiring speeches about teamwork and innovation. But back at the office, their actions scream ego, blame, and control. That hypocrisy, people see right through it, and it's maybe the fastest way to absolutely destroy any trust you've built. So, what's the end result of all this? You get this, a fundamentally broken work environment. It's just a nasty cocktail of fear, total distrust, and rock-bottom morale. People are scared to speak up, they've completely checked out, and you can bet your best employees are already sending out their resumes. So those ripples of team dysfunction, they don't just fade away. They start to combine, building and building until they become one giant wave that threatens to pull the entire organization under. This is the final act, where the cost of bad leadership becomes impossible to ignore. And look, this isn't just a string of bad luck. It's a predictable, step-by-step downward spiral. It starts with the leader's behavior. That infects the team. Morale tanks, your best people quit. Then the company stops growing, innovation flatlines, and before you know it, the whole organization could be facing collapse. It's a slow-motion demolition, and it's orchestrated from the very top.
And let's be absolutely clear. This isn't some soft HR issue. This hits the bottom line hard. We're talking about productivity taking a nosedive. We're talking about your company's reputation getting dragged through the mud. And in the worst cases, we're talking about the company just not existing anymore. This is the real price you pay for underdeveloped leadership.
Whew. Okay, so we've followed this path of destruction, from one leader's inner world all the way to a company's potential collapse. So what's the big lesson here? What do we take away from all this? It's that leadership isn't just what you say in meetings. It's about the story your actions tell every single day. You know those fancy mission statements they frame on the wall? Forget them. The real culture of your company is written in the thousands of tiny actions a leader takes every day. So, as we wrap this up, I'll just leave you with this question. When your team looks at you, what story do they see? Is it a story of purpose and trust? Or is it a cautionary tale of ego and fear? The choice is yours.